Well, hello there, I'm back in the workshop and it's a beautiful sunny day in March today and it's really warm, so I've got my t-shirt on. JurgsCup3, here we go. Now Corey tells me in the comments, and Corey's from Saul Guitars, and if you've not seen his work you need to pop along to his YouTube channel because it's absolutely brilliant. Anyway, I'll put a link down below to that. Anyway, he tells me that in actual fact I've got until the 23rd of April to build this hollow body guitar. He doesn't know how long it takes me to build guitars, does he? We're now in the middle of March. I don't know if we're going to do that. And also, I'm actually building 2 hollow body guitars, not just one, because I'm building them for a couple of special people. Anyway, I better get on if I've got any hope of getting anywhere near it. In the last episode I was sorting out the wood for the top of the guitar, and I was talking about what wood I might use for the ribs, and I thought I might use this Santos rosewood, but I've also got some walnut, and I'm just looking at the colour on the top there and the colour in the walnut, and I think the walnut might be a better choice. I have to be honest with you, I've not tried bending walnut, so that may cause a problem, but I have this nice slab of that, and I've also got another slab which I think I could cut the neck out of and have enough spare to create the ribs. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on that plan at the moment. Speaking of plans, I've found my sketch of the guitar with all the positions on. The neck is the first thing I need to be getting on with. Now that looks like I'm going to be using walnut on one of the guitars, and for the other I've got some sapele, and I bought some wood the other day. I bought this really big plank, if I can get it up, of sapele. Look at that. Ooh. Rough sawn, and it really does look nice. From that slab I've cut 2 pieces that are going to be used for body blanks. This is for the commission that I'm working on, which I shall talk about in another video. I've also managed to cut 3 neck blanks, one of which will be used for the commission, and I've got 2 here. So I think for the telly, this is big. This is wider than 2 inches, so I think I can cut it down and actually create myself 2 necks from that if I need them. Yeah, it's 53 mil, so I'll slice that down the middle, then I've got 2 blanks for necks. Let's get on. Here we go. I've looked at my instructions for building guitar necks, and I normally cut it to 22 mil and then thickness it down to I think 20 mil. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Well, I've just done the incredibly stupid thing of turning on the vacuum and forgetting to plug the vacuum hose into the bandsaw, which has then filled the workshop with dust, which is why I've got the air cleaner on and I've been wearing a mask. There you go. Right, this is the walnut. Now then, it's very thick. It's 33 mil thick, so I think I can cut a couple of 3 mil slices off this, take it down 6 mil, and still have plenty of depth for the neck itself. So let's give it a go. Okay, let's see what we've got after that little cutting session. Right, well, I've got 2 neck blanks from the sapele, so that's really good, and I've also managed to cut a couple of thin bits off there. I don't know whether I can bend sapele. I've tried it in the past and failed miserably. If I could, it would really help me with the second guitar that I'm building, the second Telecaster, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to put those to one side for a minute. Here I have neck blank for, turn it round, for the walnut guitar, and that's plenty long enough. I actually cut the whole strip off because I realised for the ribs of the guitar I'm going to need fairly long pieces, so I managed to get off two. These are 3mm thick pieces. I also got a 1.5mm piece off. I might end up thinning these to that, I don't know, we'll see, but it looks like I've got a spare anyway, and that should be plenty for the ribs of the Telecaster. Right, okay, so let's crack on with the necks. Now, I really like the look of laminated necks, and I found this piece of Zebrano which I think would make a great centerpiece for the walnut, but it needs some light wood by the side of it, and as you can see I don't have enough of that in solid blocks, but I'm wondering whether I can cheat a bit. I've got a piece here which is the same thickness. If I cut some thin strips of this and put these on at the bottom effectively, then I can pad out the top with this colour, which we won't see, and I think it should work really well. And I do think that this is going to look quite nice, he says. See if you can get it to behave a minute. Push that there, put that there. That idea of just a nice light stripe between the two woods I think will work a treat. Now, I do scarf joints in a very sort of strange way. Basically imagine that's the neck, and then I cut a slope in that, and then I stick the headstock like that. And I've always got trouble lining up where the nut should be and getting the slope right. So I've drawn myself a little diagram. Basically this is the neck coming from the body, and this is the nut. This is the front of the nut, this is the back of the nut. So what I've done a 10-degree slope from the back of the nut down, assuming a 13mm thick headstock. Now the headstock's going to end up at 15mm, but the base of it, or the blank, is going to be 13mm with a veneer on the top. So that, if I then draw a line from there downwards, and then I do the 13mm underneath and draw a line right back up, it tells me where the headstock will cut through the top of the neck. Now I've measured that at 70mm, so that's basically 70mm back from the nut, and that allows me a little bit of material to flatten off to put the nut on. In actual fact, what I'm going to do is go for 65mm, so it's going to move the whole lot this way, so the neck will, the headstock will break through earlier here, and that'll give me even more material actually to put the nut on. Now you may ask, why is that important at this stage? Well, it's important for this reason. I only had one piece of this Zebrano, and I wanted to make sure that I had enough for the neck, but I also have some for the headstock, because I want to carry the laminates right the way through into the headstock. So all my measurements seem to have paid off, I think. Basically, here we have, if I can put that there, I've got my 65mm mark back there. I've put my 10% or 10-degree, sorry, angle on, drawn a line, and that shows it finishes about there. So I don't need any more of this Zebrano past that point. So I've cut that to length. Now what I need to do is thin this out to 13mm and use that for the headstock blank. I'm actually writing up some detailed notes on guitar building because as you know, I normally wing it, but there are certain situations that I get into, whereas if I'd thought about the order in which I do things a bit more, I'd make my life a lot easier. So that's what I'm trying to do. Anyway, I'm going to go off and have some dinner and well, see you tomorrow. Okay, well, I've been busy in the workshop this morning, cutting and thicknessing. So I've got the neck blank ready to glue up for the walnut neck, and I've also got the headstock ready. Now I've had to cut a fillet out of a bit of waste wood, and this is a bit of oak actually, because I didn't have enough of this Zebrano to go to the whole length that I need. Now then, I'm going to position this headstock about there. Here's the centre line. So in actual fact, all the bit of the headstock that you'll see will have the Zebrano on the back, but the bit that will go inside the neck will have the oak. So I think we're okay with that. Now then, challenge. This is all I've got of the light wood, and I want this to show on the back of the neck. So my idea is to cut some thin strips, stick those on the bottom, and then use this piece, which is slightly darker, on the top, which you won't see. Okay, now I need a filler piece to go on the top of that. Now, it actually doesn't matter really what colour it is, because you're not going to see it, and this is too short, so I'll put that to one side. I've got this bit of Zebrano, funnily enough, so hopefully that'll do the job. So I've got a depth of 20, I've cut that to 7, so I need to cut this to 13. Okay, it's time to assemble all the pieces. First mistake. Okay. It's all going so well till I realised what I'd done then. Right. Right, now I think I'm on track again. Not quite happy about that block there. Stick some more glue on there, stick some more glue on there. Oh dear, Dave getting in a mess again as usual. Dave in a mess. Right, we're all there now. We've got that all there, got all that all there. Get some more glue on this, put it there against the line, which is where it should be. Push those together. Right there a minute. Well, apart from me making the usual mistake of gluing it wrong, but it looks like it's gone together now. Just going to leave this to cure a bit and then we'll have a look at it. Okay, now it's time to glue up the neck. See if I can get this one right. So I'll just move those out of the way. Get those there. Okay, so I know I've got to line it up with that end. Good. Right. Get some glue on there. So, need to put this on the bottom, like so, and make sure I've got glue to the end. And then this piece goes on the top, making sure I don't cross over the two pieces. That was good. Right, next strip. Looks pretty good on the bottom there. Put those over. I think these have gone okay. I'm going to just leave them a few hours just to cure properly. It's been a couple of hours. I've had some lunch. Had a cup of tea. So let's see what we got. I will leave it overnight before I do any major work on it. But hopefully I'll get an idea of how it's going to look. I'll need to sand that paper off, but that's okay. Well, that looks pretty good. And let's get the template. That's going to go approximately there. So I've got plenty of wood in that middle piece there. That'll be good. Yeah, I think that's going to look okay. Right, let's have a look at the neck. Right, that's always good when you glue the clamping cords onto the top of the guitar. Right, okay. That ain't going to move easy, is it? I'm going to have to lever that one off. Right, well, that was a bit embarrassing. I managed to get it off with this sort of fairly blunt chisel without doing too much damage. So yeah, that looks all right. Let's have a look. Again, you're going to have to sand off this paper. I would be best to use sort of like baking paper, greaseproof paper, but I've got loads of this tissue and it doesn't take long to sand off. It's pretty good. Right, so I'm going to leave these to one side to really set overnight. Now, I mentioned at the beginning I was going to be making two hollow body Telecasters. Now, the alder and walnut is going to be for my son-in-law Mike, who is lead singer with the band Colours of One, and fantastic guitarist, fantastic vocalist, and so that's his guitar. I'm also making a guitar for my granddaughter. And this is going to be a bit of a surprise, so I hope she's not watching. This is going to be made from maple, so we've got a maple top with a sapele back. Now then, I'm hoping to also use sapele on the sides. and I've had a lot of trouble trying to bend sapele in the past. So I might have to switch tack and try something else, but that's what I'm going to try and do. Anyway, I prepared these two pieces a while back, and they're fairly stable, so I think that's going to make a really nice top for this guitar. And in the last couple of days I've been cutting out wood for the neck. So I'm going to do a solid neck for this guitar and a solid headstock, but I'm going to have to make it out of two parts, so I need to cut this down and glue it together. Right, so I've cut them down to size, so this should be a fairly straightforward glue up. It's a nice joint there, so just a bit of glue and we should be away. Right, well this has been a bit of a glue up episode, but now it's all done I've just got to wait for those to cure. I need to go and order a load of components for these guitars, so that's what I'm going to do, and well, I'll be back tomorrow. I've sanded the two headstock blanks down and I've marked a centre line, so now I need to mark the shape of the headstock on it. So I'm just going to position that so I've got the centre line right on the centre line. That looks good. Actually, while I'm at it, I think I might mark the holes as well. That's that one. I just need to extend these arms, or this lead in. Okay, so there we have two headstocks ready to be fitted to the necks. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is to tidy up the top of this neck, get that paper off. Now the important thing is that this neck blank has to be flat on the top. So let's just check that. Best way to do that is with a bright light behind the straight edge. And we discover there's a big dip in the middle. Which is no good at all, so I'll need to take some material off the ends there. Right, I've marked the two ends with pencil where I need to take some off. It's really fine though, so just have to do it carefully. See that high spot there? I've got that nice and flat now. I have to say the soprano is really difficult to play, and it always rips out, but it's going to be in the centre, and this is going to be under the fretboard, most of which is going to be taken off with the truss rod, so I think that's going to be fine. Okay, just check the neck length. So I'm hoping we should be able to go down to about there. So I'm going down to the, just between the 22nd and the 23rd fret there is going to be the end of the fretboard. Then the nut is going to be up this end here, and hopefully that gives me enough excess here to create the volute into the headstock. I'm going to try a slightly different approach with these guitars. Normally I would shape the neck and then cut out the truss rod once the headstock's on, but I think what I'm going to do, while the neck blanks are square, I'm going to cut the truss rod channel. I know I'll have to go back and then just do the headstock, but I think it's going to be a better way of doing it. Well, that's the idea anyway. So I just want to make sure, I'm going to go to the 23rd fret. These guitars are going to have 22 frets basically. Right, I'm going to mark that there. So that's the 22nd fret. Just double check that, 22nd fret there, which means the nut is just there. Let's just draw a line there. Now I don't actually have the truss rods yet. I've got them in order. They are 440 long. So 440. So we can go into the headstock a bit. So that means the truss rod, I think, is going to go down to about there. Now the Sapele neck is going to be easier because it's very flat. It's just one piece, and I've got plenty of length with this one as well. So it's not going to be a bother at all, I don't think. What I will do, I'll come in a bit because you get a bit of snipe, I think it's called, on the thicknesser, and I can just feel it there, and I feel it just on the end there. So I'll just come in a bit. So I'm going to mark mark just beyond the 23rd fret in this case, and also then at the nut. So let's get those marked up if I can find my square. That's that. This is the nut. Can't really see that. This is the. Actually, I need to mark the 22nd fret. That's what I need to do. Get that right. So that's the end. But I need to mark the 22nd fret, which is there. Just put 22 there. Okay, and I need to mark a centre line. Right then, well, I've made a bit of progress in this episode. I've got the headstocks cut, and I've got the neck blanks cut and marked up. I'm going to wait until I get the truss rods. I've got them on order, just so that I know the exact size before I start routing through these neck blanks. Anyway, it's coming on. I hope you'll stay watching this this build, or these two builds, I should say. And don't forget, it's the JurgsCup challenge. So if you want to have a go, please do. Dive in. There's going to be a new challenge on the 23rd of April, I think, which will run for 6 months, so Corey tells me. But I'm not sure what that is. At the moment, it's the hollow body guitar. So if you can build it in 2 or 3 weeks, crack on. Anyway, I'll see you soon. In the meantime, stay safe. Cheers.